Hi, my name is DeeDee Lake, and I'm with CrossRiver Media Publishing. And today I get the privilege of speaking to Norma Poore, who is in North Carolina. So, welcome, Norma.
Thank you. Glad to be here, DeeDee.
Norma is one of the 31 authors that's part of Abba's Lessons anthology, a devotional that comes out in October of 2023, and we are so excited that she's part of it. I love your story. Everyone that's in there, I'm a fan of because they're so good. So let's just jump into it. Ask you a couple of questions. Your story is about the name of it. I'm sorry, let me get the name right. Will I be next? And I'm like, oh, what does that even mean? So why did you use that title? What brought you to bring that title?
Well, my story is based around the time of COVID, actually, a year after the shutdown and everything. I had a cousin die just a few days before I actually went into the hospital with COVID pneumonia. And I was just so many people I knew were dying. And it was like, Lord, will I be next?
Yeah, yeah. I love the question because we all I think at some point in our life come to that question. And so we've got to figure out how are we going to deal with that? We're going to trust the Lord, or are we just going to keep on doing things the wrong way? Not that you were doing things the wrong way, but
No,
like we really need to get, God is the center of our lives there. Um, I had a couple of questions I want to write down. So I think what I'm understanding from your devotional is that God hears us. He hears our cries. He knows us. Even no matter what hospital you're in, no matter how bad your internet might be, God can still hear you. Would you agree with
yes,
that?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And
And
it's a
it doesn't
scary
matter
time.
what I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying, and not only does it not matter where we are, but it doesn't matter what we've done. He
Oh, I
still
like
hears.
that. I like that. That is true. That's true. I know that in your story you talk about God bringing a certain scripture to mind. I wonder how many of us realize how important that is to know the scriptures so that we can get our strength from that. Are you a studier of the words? Like, do you like to memorize scripture, or where are you at in that realm?
Yes, yes, and yes. I've memorized lots of verses that have maybe were a challenge. Hey, let's memorize this in a Bible study or something like that. But later, God has always brought those back in a time of need. And I teach ladies Bible study. I've been a Sunday school teacher. I'm currently finishing up a Bible study in my home on the book of Revelation. And so God's truth his word is just living and real. And every time I read it, I learn something new, which I'm like, wow, God, that's so cool. But inevitably, that new thing comes into play later. And I'm
Yeah.
like, God, that's why you showed that to me. And it's just, I love being in his word and his promises. Um, there's the saying, if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Well, God's promises are too good, and they are very true.
Yes, you're right. I agree completely. Yes, yes, and yes, like you said. So one last question. Well, actually,
Mhm.
one last of these kind of questions. What advice would you give to a new author, a new Christian author? Like what should they be doing?
I, excuse me, my first suggestion would be to be a part of a group, find an accountability group, whether it's word weavers, a critique group. And if you can't find one, maybe start one. Call a few people, or online, there's all kind of writing places like Serious Writer and all kind of different Jerry Jenkins Writers Guild. If you just do a search, there's tools out there. And in that is lots of community. And we need community to do this journey. And then trust God's calling.
Mm,
He brought you here for a reason. And whether it's to become a renowned, well known New York Times bestseller, or maybe your words are just to encourage a few people here and there. The point is to walk in obedience to his will.
love that. That's great advice. Norma, where can people find you besides of course, you can find you on crossrivermedia.com, but where can we find you?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram under Norma Poore, and I also have a website, normapoore.com.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for just spending some time with me today. I feel blessed just being here. Like I can't wait for everybody to get the book, Abba's Lessons, because they're going to see such richness in these stories that everyone has poured in, because it is the lessons that God has given us. Well,
It
thank you,
is
Miss Norma.
my pleasure. It's been my honor.
Take care.
All right. Bye now.